Back to the daily grind, and y'all know we gotta talk about this. But before we do, make sure you hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Holy flying flipping flapjacks, the UFC is back to stacking their UFC on Fox cards as they have announced top prospect Israel Adesanya aka Non Jones against Marvin Vettori, another up and coming bright UFC prospect, at UFC on Fox 29. Now this is just one fight of many that has been on this card. It's going to be headlined by Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, and I'll show you some of the other fights on the card in just a little bit after we talk about this fight. If you don't know who Israel Adesanya is, he had a very impressive UFC debut at UFC 221 versus Rob Wilkinson. He's being compared to Anderson Silva, John Jones, you know what I'm saying? He's a very exciting striker, and he's got a lot of potential. You know, if you didn't see it, he's the guy in his post-fight interview said, you know, I'm the new dog in the yard, and I just pissed all over the octagon. He warned all the middleweights. He, envisions himself becoming a champion versus fighting Robert Whittaker sooner rather than later. This guy's got a lot of potential, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were excited to see his next fight after that impressive debut, and so it's, in my opinion, it's good to see him being booked so fast, just to ride that momentum, not let people forget who he is. So he's being booked versus Marvin Vettori. Now when he was on the MMA Hour, it was kind of, he said that he might be getting booked against a guy that looked like Fabio, an old and wrinkly tough winner. So, it made me and probably some others believe he was talking about, what is his name? The Invictor, the guy that's going to be the Invictor, Elias Theodorou. But nope, it's going to be versus Marvin Vettori. And Marvin Vettori, he's a well-rounded fighter. He's coming off of a majority decision or a majority draw, but it's going to be a good fight. I believe Marvin Vettori has 3 or 4 fights in the UFC. I think he's 2-1-1, and he's only 24 years old. His record, I believe, is 12-3. So he doesn't have a bad record to be that young. So it's going to be 2 prospects battling it out at UFC on Fox 29. And as I said, that card is stacked. Check this out: Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje, Carlos Condit versus Matt Brown, Michelle Watterson versus Courtney Casey, Wilson Hayes versus John Moraga, of course Israel Adesanya, Marvin Vettori. You've got Tim Boetsch versus Shoeface on the card. You've got, who else is on the card? Christoph Yotko, Brad Tavares, Luke Saunders, Patrick Williams, Alejandro Perez, Matthew Lopez, Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Muslim Salikov. Holy smokes, that is one crazy night of fights all on that's like worth $30 low-key, you know what I'm saying? It might not be a full pay-per-view, but that's some fucking great fights to have on Big Fox. So that's gonna be a dope night of fights, and it's cool to see, this bright prospect being booked and riding that momentum, because we saw with Darren Till, he's got more fights in the UFC, and he's got that win over Donald Cerrone. But one thing with Darren Till is, like, he fought Donald Cerrone and got that big win, and it's interesting to see Donald Cerrone's already got a fight booked and won since, the Darren Till fight. Darren Till came out uninjured. Donald Cerrone might have had a broken nose in that fight, knocked out in the first round, and still came back and fought before Darren Till. So, that's kind of the opposite of riding the momentum. I don't know, I think what's going on with Darren Till is they might be waiting on the Wonder Boy fight, because Wonder Boy was injured, and that fight makes a lot of sense. A lot of people want to see Darren Till versus Wonder Boy, so that might be what Darren Till's team is waiting on. But hey, man, I thought about this earlier on. Think about this, man. Darren Till already says he's a light heavyweight fighting at welterweight, and even if that's not the case, he's at least a middleweight fighting at welterweight. He's a big welterweight. So if Darren Till does plan on moving up divisions, one of the hottest prospects in the UFC, Darren Till, this guy, Israel Adesanya, on his way. If Israel Adesanya can, continue his path, what if these guys become champions? Could you imagine that fight, Darren Till versus Israel Adesanya, champion versus champion super fight 2 years from now? You know what I'm saying? That would be insane. Now that is, of course, projecting. Both of these guys would have to be very successful to become the champions and prove a lot. But I'm just saying, you know, even if Darren Till just moves up sometime soon, it don't have to be champion versus champion. But I just think these guys' styles would be a great matchup. They probably seem around the same size, as Israel Adesanya came in at 183 pounds in his last fight. That's a smaller middleweight. You know, he definitely didn't have a hard time making weight, going down to 183. Darren Till is one of the biggest welterweights. He might be able to move up. These guys seem like they're near size, and both of them are, you know, strikers. Super. That just seemed, you know, Darren Till's more. I just think that would be an insane fight. But they're both in their own divisions doing their thug thizzle, and we'll see Israel Adesanya back versus Marvin Vettori at UFC on Fox. We don't know so much about Darren Till yet, but I'm waiting. With that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOG.